What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So we mentioned at the last show that Devon Achane left the game with a rib injury, and it looked kind of weird on TV because I thought he was hobbling. Turns out he did. It was a rib injury, and what happens when he fell running the ball basically hit his rib in a weird place. So he felt discomfort. Makes sense. And when you saw him taken to the back of the locker room, they were doing x-rays because we have x-rays on staff on hand. And the x-rays showed no breaks, no fractures, so no broken ribs. Like, good times. And apparently he talked to Coach McDaniel and said, hey, if y'all need me to come back in this game, like if we're in desperate need and we're about to lose, I can play this game. And Coach McDaniel said, we good. Say, hey, we got this on lock, big dog. Them boys, those are the Jets. Them boys can't win. Well, you know what? Go put a big jacket on, take the pads off, come back in some slippers if you want to. We got this in hand. That's basically what happened. I was thinking, like, why is he even on the sideline? Why is he not? Like, it's because he was fine. He was just chilling at that point. Like, he said, hey, I'm probably a little bruised, you know. But I could play if y'all need me to. It's like, don't worry about it. So based on that, Coach McDaniel said he should be good to go this week against Pittsburgh. That's like all indications. They're going to take him through a slow week. He won't be probably doing any kind of contact drills. I imagine he'll just be doing film, walkthroughs, simulations, that kind of stuff. But no need for him to get hit. He's been doing his job all year. He's the one guy that if he wants to miss practice, no issues here. He wants to leave for rest, no problems, because he has been carrying the team. Totally cool with it. Happy he's not like injured and that there's no fracture. I'm sure he'll still have some kind of extra padding there to take more impact. But I think even taking a week off, and our game this week is on Monday night, so you get an extra day of rest on top of him not being hit this whole week. I mean, outside of a bye week, this is probably like his second more or less bye week in the last 3 weeks. You don't really get a week off from football from any level of contact unless you're really hurt. And for him to be like not that hurt and to get a week off, he should be good to go because Pittsburgh they're just one of those teams, man. Rodgers is hot and cold. Their pass rush is hellacious, and we don't want to get in a situation where we need to have Tua back there on 3rd and 7+ consistently because it's not going to end well. He will get sacked. I'd hope, knock on all the wood, no injuries, no whatever. But they come after people. Like TJ and Highsmith and Cam, like they come after people. But you can throw on Pittsburgh. So it's a weird gambit because they're pretty good against the run, but they're not good against the pass, but their pass rush is great. So you got to figure out how do you get to a pass without the pass rush really being a factor, and you do that by running the ball. You run the ball, soften that team up, make them commit more guys to the box, then you hit them with a play action. Tua reaches out, pull it back, and then you throw against probably any corner but Porter Jr. Like Porter Jr. is good. He's not elite, but he's pretty solid. He has okay ball skills. I think any other corner I'm throwing on, I feel pretty confident we can complete the passes. So Devon is going to be good. We're happy to hear it. Barring any setbacks, we don't expect him to really practice that much this week, but he's good to go. Jalen, unfortunately, you won't be able to have probably another 24 carry game, but we may lean on Jalen and Ollie a little bit more, especially, this late in the season. Trying to stay healthy is a big deal. And Jalen showed he could do it. Ollie hasn't gotten a 24 carry game yet. I will be intrigued to see him with more than 15 carries to see how his punishing style could like dominate late in games. Because Ollie doesn't ever want to be tackled and he runs behind his pads. But we haven't gotten that yet, and maybe we will this week. We shall see. Now I talked about the Dolphins making the playoffs. If we went out, 10-7 on the board, what have you. We're 6-7 right now, so we have to go 4-0 down the stretch. Even if we go 10-7, we win out completely, the Dolphins only have a 16% chance to make the playoffs. I thought it was higher than that. It's some of what happened is the people in front of us are a problem. We don't, because us winning out is one thing. And we're not favored in, I think, 2 or 3 of our games. Like, for sure, the Patriots were not favored. We won't be favored, I don't believe, against Tampa. And Pittsburgh or Cincy kind of flip a coin. Like, we get Cincy back at home, so maybe that one. And they're kind of out of the playoffs already, so maybe that one. But at least 2 of the last 4, we're not favored. I haven't checked the Pittsburgh line yet. So we have to win out, period. Then Kansas City needs to lose another game. Baltimore's going to lose another game. We need the Chargers to lose I think, 4 games because the Chargers beat us. And right now they have 4 losses. So they got to lose. The Chargers have to basically lose out while the Chiefs lose a couple, while Baltimore losing. And I think even the Colts need to lose 2. Oh, yeah, the Colts beat us. So the Colts also have to lose 3 more games. It's a lot. Now, I will say, I can see the Colts losing out. Period. The Colts are on a backup quarterback, and their schedule is murder. San Fran, then they go to Seattle, then they play, I think, Jacksonville again. I mean, they could easily, I think, lose out, or at least lose 3 out of 4. So the Colts one, I don't think is that crazy. Baltimore they play Patriots, they play Green Bay, they play Cincinnati again. Like, they could lose a game. So the Baltimore one, I don't think is crazy. I think the Chiefs one is going to be the one that trips us up. Like, I think the Chiefs are going to win out. That's just kind of what they do. That Houston loss was absolutely devastating. And because now they need to win out, they can no longer win the division. They play the Chargers again, which could help us in the Chargers situation. They play the Broncos, who are already in the playoffs. They're just trying to figure out seeding. So, that's the thing. The Chargers are a little bit confusing because they're playing Philadelphia before I'm taping this episode. So I don't know what's going to happen tonight. If the Chargers win tonight, I think that all but closes the door on us, right? But the Chargers lose, that gives them 5 losses, if I'm not mistaken, which means they got to lose 3 of their next 4, which they play the Broncos, they play the Chiefs, and I don't know their last 2 games. But those are 2 games they could easily lose. So is it like 60% is not a big percentage, right? That's like 1 out of 6. It's not great, but we also have to win out for any of this. If we lose a game, this is all out the window. But to put in perspective, we talked about, if you could win out and make the playoff push. I've kind of been moving under the assumption that if we just got to 10-7, we will be in the playoffs, but it's entirely possible we go 10-7 and don't make the playoffs. And in fact, it's more likely than not that's the case. So, miracles have happened. We've seen teams tie. We saw that scenario like 2 or 3 years ago where it was the Raiders versus the Chargers, where they tied, they both got in. But then I think the Chargers try to be jerks and run a play. They say, you know what? We're not going for the tie. We're going for the win. And then they got kicked out. So sometimes life happens. But, you just got to keep winning. Just win your next game and then let whatever happens. What happened with the Colts and Daniel Jones, our heart goes out to you. You don't wish that on anybody. But, yes, sometimes something crazy like that can happen where your whole season. The Colts were 7-1 at one point. They're 8-5 now. It can happen like that. So 60% chance, not high, but we'll see what happens. Now we're getting prepped for our rebuild, right? I talked to a lot of people in the Dolphin fan base and online people, and many of y'all want a rebuild. You say trade everybody. Trade Devon for a first and a third, maybe a first and a second if you can get that, but most likely a first and a third. Trade Waddle for first. Get Minka out of here on maybe a third. And just rebuild from the draft, and then obviously dump Tua. That's I should have started there. Almost none of these people want Tua to be the quarterback. So dump Tua, trade everybody. That's kind of the goal, and then rebuild. But that's not really how teams work for the most part. You have to have some guys to build around, and you don't have enough guys in the draft that are going to hit. Cleveland had an awesome draft this past year. If you believe in Shador, then he got a quarterback, 2 running backs, a tight end, a D tackle, and a linebacker. So that's as good as it gets, and that team has 3 wins. So if they hit on all 6 of those players, they are still a top 5 pick. It's really hard to rebuild through the draft for a season. Now Cleveland should be much better next year, but that's best case scenario where almost all your picks are good, and the Dolphins have not been good at picking. The idea that we have so many picks, we'll figure it out, kind of flies in the face of the Dolphins. We haven't been good at drafting a lot of players. We usually get 1 or 2 good, and then we get a lot of Cam Smiths. That's been the average. Even now, who knows how good this class is going to be long term. But as of now, we don't have anybody that's bona fide. Yes, sir, you are worth the pick, and people are already kind of out on chop. And it's been a year and a half. So I bring this up because we should build around some people. You need some people to be gap people. You need some people to be long-term people. I think Rasul Douglas can be one of those people. Y'all know I'm a cornerback guy. I like Rasul in the offseason. I wanted to sign him back in like March. He came in for a visit. Whatever we offered him, he said no to. Went to the Chargers. I thought for sure they're going to sign him because they didn't have a big need at corner too. They didn't sign him. Then he came back for another visit, and then we signed him. Hey, it works in mysterious ways. He's been a little banged up this year, so the injury thing is concerning to me. But when he's been on the field, to me, he's been clearly one of our best corners, not the best corner. He's shown himself to be good in big game situations. He's gotten a couple picks the last couple games. And he just seems like a dude that's a really solid locker room leader type guy that also performs on the field. Because we got to think that we're getting, Cater back next year. And I don't know who else of the DBs that got hurt that we're going to try to bring back. We'll figure that out in the offseason. But if you have Cater, and then, of course, now Rasul, and then like James Marshall, and then like you can see how we can have 3 or 4 corners that we feel pretty good about, and then maybe even go out and draft another one to really reinforce the team. But you need somebody to be the leader. You need somebody to be the kind of alpha, I'll go guard the best player on the team guy. You need somebody to teach the young guys how to play. I think Rasul could do that. Obviously, he was a free agent going into this year, which meant the rest of the league didn't see much value in him. Unfortunately, that's what that means. He's going to want some kind of extension, and he's 31, right? So he's not a spring chicken. I imagine he will want some kind of financial security. I don't know what a contract like that would look like because he's not going to get anywhere near, like, the top corners in the league now are making near $25 million. Like, he's not getting anywhere near that. But could it be a 2-year, $20 million contract with some incentives? Yeah, I wouldn't hate that at all. If you think he's a legit tier 2 number 1 corner, if that makes sense, like it's the top, that's the Stingleys and the Sauce and the Shatans, like those guys. If you think he's in that next bracket, which he may even be high, you might think he's a 3rd tier corner. Fine. If he's 3rd tier, then 3 years, $25 million, 16 guaranteed. Like you can move the numbers around depending on where you think he is. I think he's somebody we can build around. I've liked him as a player in the offseason. I liked him on Buffalo. I just liked him against us. I think he could be really good. And if, that's something that we want to consider, I think we should go that route. 31 to me is not like old enough to be washed. I think as a corner up until like 33, 34, you're still pretty good. And especially because he's missed time. His body's not 31. It's just his like football, odometer is. So hopefully we could. I don't know. I don't know what he's asking for. A lot of teams need corners. We just see Darius Slade just got cut, attempted to be picked up, about to be released, and it's going to end up somehow back on Philadelphia because why not? They always get the guy they want. Different rant for a different day. But Darius Slade in the offseason, people coveted him too. And Darius Slade is older and more injury prone. So if you're a solid corner, there's value out there. I think Rasul is more than a solid corner. This is sad news for people who don't live in the market. That the Dolphins Monday night are playing Pittsburgh. And we were going to have a Sunday night game the following week against Cincinnati. 2 national televised games. So depending on where you live, the Dolphins aren't your local game. So you don't get the game unless you go to a bar or you pay for some kind of service. But Monday and Sunday night, we all get it. And so the idea, if you were looking in the offseason like, I don't ever get to see my team play at home. I always got to go out or pay extra money. You had the chance to watch them play on Monday and then immediately on Sunday. 2 high-profile games. NFL said, no. You don't get both. You're keeping the Pittsburgh game, but flexing you out of the Sunday night game. Now, for good reason, because the game they're moving in place is Baltimore versus the Patriots. That seems to me a better game with more implications. One, the Patriots are very much in position to be the 1 seed. They're tied record-wise with Denver now, but Denver has a tiebreak over them, like divisional. So Denver right now is the 1 seed, but Patriots they could be right there. Broncos play the Chiefs, they play the Chargers again. They could lose a game easily. I think they play like Green Bay too. Like the Broncos' home schedule, like the last home stretch, they could lose 1 or 2. They could fall from 1 even to 3 if Jags went out. So Patriots have plenty to play for, and I think that should be a good game. Anytime you get Lamar in prime time, even though the Ravens have been just awful this year, 6-7, they beat up on us, whatever. If you can get Lamar versus May, you get those 2 brands, that makes sense. But our game is inflexed to a 1 p.m. CBS game, which is basically like all the Dolphin games. It's very sad to like lose one of your 4 primetime games. And the Thursday night games they barely count as prime time. Like everybody plays on Thursday night at some point. But if you don't live in the area, I would start making preparations for the Cincinnati game now, because that game will not be on NBC. It will be on CBS. Find your local bar or download, I don't know what apps, YouTube TV, DirecTV. I go to a bar. I don't. I live in California. They're almost never a game unless they're here playing the Chargers. I don't get it naturally. I got to go out to get it. So for the rest of y'all, make arrangements. Our game against the Char. Wow, against the Bengals. Just name all the teams that beat us. Like our game against the Bengals would not be that Sunday night. This is on the 21st, I believe. Make arrangements and enjoy the game. But as always, y'all, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes and the subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.